Now, this video, Kyla, I'm going to talk to you about, let's call it the dark side of Utopia. It's the philosophies and practices and beliefs that right now really conflict with what modern society says is okay. Um, let's start with our population control. Anytime you deal with saying that you're going to control a population somehow, it's not good. It's a very slippery slope. It's neogenics and Nazis wanting to put everybody who doesn't fit in the right model in a gas chamber. So utopians take it very serious, but you have to control population. You can't just have as many people as we want on this planet until what it self-implodes. We eat everything. There's so many of us to take care of that our standard of living is just horrible. So women will probably like the utopian philosophy. Instead of controlling reproduction through the female, which the female reproduction system is vastly more complicated than the males. It's so much easier just to give a vasectomy as a baby, especially something that can easily be reversible, versus trying to sterilize women and then make them fertile again. It's really left to the men, to where the men are just infertile. And of course we still have children, and similar to our politicians, it's a lottery system. So you have to ask for a kid, you have to want a kid. The pro-life people will be happy because there'd be almost no abortions except for medical reasons. Everybody, there would be no accidental babies. So it's bad to say you want to have population control or force anything on the population, but that's one of those things that you just have to do. You have to control population, you know. But again, that doesn't mean you kill people. It just means you control how many are born, so there's a constant cycle of people. And again, if you keep it around that's why we say 500 million to a billion, because you just keep it around that, because you're not like, oh, we have 1,000,000,001 and now it's Logan Run and you gotta go. So, and a lot of the dark side of utopian isn't actually utopia, it's the nemesis, which is dystopia. Which, by the way, both those philosophies, the reason why they're considered the opposite of each other, they're considered the end development of society, because both are kind of permanent system. I mentioned in my last thing that George Orwell's 1984 is a dystopia, and it's like the ultimate USSR controlled state, except for even in like the USSR, there is no communist party. What people don't understand about dystopia is they do believe in the same thing about rich people being the problem, religious people being a problem, and politicians being a problem. So their method is to get rid of all of them. Thus why Marx and Lenin went more the communist way of trying to do dystopia, where if you get rid of the religious control, the politician control, and the rich people control, then you can have a system. But again, you just get rid of the king and replace it with a politician. What they fail to understand is a politician is a politician, whether it's a president or a king. Now, granted, kings, especially in the past, had a lot of more authority and power, but a lot more is not none. It's still a lot. When you're a president and you can start wars and do things like that, then, you know, again, America just said our presidents can't be charged with crime. So even back in the day, a lot of kings still had laws where the king could still be tried. I mean, the whole point of the Maricata. But the other thing is to harm no human. So how can we have a society where we all are just peaceful, tree hugging, getting along, skipping along to the Smurf song? That's not what utopia is. Again, that's what dystopia is, where no one thinks about doing a crime because the punishment in dystopia for most everything is death. You're a problem to the system, you're removed from the system. Where in utopia, what do we do with criminals? And the answer is simple: we put them in jail. Because you're still going to have the guy that catches his wife cheating and kills him or something like that. You're going to have those things. But that person is going to go to jail and never come out again and never be a part of society again. But we're not going to execute him. So, and then other crimes would have more moderate punishments by our standard, but still punishments: 30 days, 60 days, 1 year, 2 years. But usually not more than that. Unless you commit murder or something like that, then yeah, life. So, serial rapist, life. We don't need those things in our society, but we're not going to kill the person. They'll just spend the rest of their life where they can't hurt anyone. Because some people are born broken. So, those crimes should be minimized in most utopians' belief, because with less social pressure, such as better economic situation, if there's no poor, there's less stress that causes abuse from the parents to the children, which then breaks the children and turns them into monsters. So with less of that, you'll have less. And petty crimes almost don't exist because no one's stealing a loaf of bread because they're hungry. So those crimes just don't exist. And our drug laws are another things that don't really fit in today's things because we wouldn't have any. The concept that I should tell you not to hurt yourself is ridiculous. And if you hurt yourself, I'm going to hurt you worse. I'll throw you in prison. I'll take your possessions. I'll put you on the street and homeless. It's quite insane. I know everybody thinks it's normal and the way you should do, because what are you going to do? Nothing? It's like, yeah. Now, does that mean you let a junkie shoot up heroin in a kid's park? No.